Welcome to Virtual STEAM Teacher. Today we're going to have a look at a website called CodeStepByStep. I generally use this website with upper secondary, and it's really useful for my students that have finished using another website you may have seen me talk about called CodingBat. So my students have finished CodingBat, they've done the problems, they need some more problems, they still need a bit of scaffolding, but not so much, and they're looking for bigger challenges. So I come to this website and you can log on. And when you log on, you register. If you're a teacher, when you create your account, you can register a school. So they have a list of schools here. If you haven't got a school, you can apply for your school to be created, and you send them an email, they verify it. I think they need a bit of information. It's not that hard. But once you've registered it, you can then have your students, when they sign up, they join the school and they can automatically see your class. So it's a little bit more involved than the other website, but once you've registered it, you only need to do it once. Your students can join your school and then sign up for a class, and they're only seeing the classes that are available at your school. It's really, really cool. So the nicest thing about this is you can, as I say here, you can have a problem set. So you can go through the list of, I think it's like 500-600 questions, and assign the specific questions you want them to do this week. And again, it has tracking and all that kind of stuff. So you can say, this week we're going to learn about arrays. Here are the 6 questions I want you to do, and you can see which ones I've done. And down here, there's the top users, which I never use. But even without registering and logging on, you can have a look here at all the questions. So unlike the other one that just had Java and Python, this one here has all these different languages. And if I have a student that wants to learn, say, Ruby, we don't have a lot of questions, but I'll often say, come over here and have a look. So where is it? Java, we've got about 500 questions-ish. And down under Python, we've got about 600. So they've both got around the same. So let's have a quick look at Java. I mainly use this for Java. If students really want to do Python, then I come over here. But let's just have a quick look at some of the differences. So again, you've got strings, very similar to the previous ones, but they're slightly different. You've got recursion, something that my students struggle with and I need to have a look at. Sorting and searching, really, really a big deal for me in upper secondary. And parameters, when we're looking at methods, sort of upper middle school, lower secondary. And we've got loops, always good to use. Inheritance, if you're doing OOP, is great. File, I tend to skip, don't need it, unless one of my students is going to do it in a project. And then if they're doing it in a project, awesome, send them over here, get them to do some practice before they use it. Okay. Lots of these I don't use. Critters is a specific thing to do with a specific course. You can access, I think they've got a PDF version of it online, but I tend to skip it. Similar with drawing panel, we're not doing a lot of that. Dynamic program, I tend to skip. Collections is probably the thing I love the most here, and we're going to have a look at these in a moment. Classes and objects, again, massive if you're doing OOP. Backtracing and Big O, I really like them, but I rarely get enough time to do them. And algorithms and arrays, great. So this is all, I don't think they have it here, was created for a specific course. I think it's CS1, CS2 from memory in Stanford. Primarily made for them, but the information is public and anyone is allowed to use them. So if you have a look here, and the console output is specific. If you have a look as a teacher, you can see what it does, but basically it's based on console output from a specific textbook as well. So if we have a look at implementation, they need to write them, sort of cool. But collections, we've got an array list, we've got stacks and queues, which is the main thing I care about because they're a core part of my syllabus. Sets and maps, I don't use so much because they're not in the syllabus that I'm teaching. So let's have a quick look at one. I think there's a really good one here. Now, if this isn't the right one, I'll show you another one. Yeah, it's the right one. So the nicest thing about this is in CodingBat, they only write code. In Code Step by Step, not only do they have to write code, and we'll have a look at a question in a moment, you have to read code. So this is having a look at what does peek and pop, and if we press run, no, I can't press run. You can see the question, but you can't run it. We'll get an error message that says this is green and this is right and then this is wrong, and it shows you where all your mistakes are. But let's have a quick look at the next one. So multiple choice, answers. There we go. So here we have to write our code and it goes in there. Once you've logged in, as well as having the code here, there's a little button here that basically puts a header in. So it creates a method for you and then puts a squiggly bracket at the bottom. You need to write the code in the middle that works. So depending upon the answers for these ones here, you're just being asked to create a method. So you don't need to create the class. If we go back to the OOP part, it'll ask you to write the whole class. So you have to write it all down. So yeah, this is my second go-to website after CodingBat that students that have sort of a bit more of a grasp come across to this website, try some different problems if they need some consolidation, or they go on to the slightly harder problems if they're ready to move on to something more difficult. Hope you guys enjoy it. Again, it's free, great for students, great for teachers being able to track it. Check it out.